All right, welcome back to our sixth episode of Kings Baseball Great Lakes College Spotlight Series. This is Brian Blondell, owner and director of baseball operations. This week, we're excited to connect with Taylor University junior right-handed pitcher Matt Dutkowski. Each week, we're going to continue to connect with former players now at the college level, just see how things are going for them and learn a little bit about their journey. So, Matt, hey, thanks for joining us today. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Sun's shining, so it's actually maybe a good day today. We're finally breaking some of this. Hey, let's start off with some listeners here from a little bit about yourself.
I am from Napanee, Indiana. I went to Northwood High School. So I from up north, up there by the Michiana area.
Perfect. How long you been playing baseball? When did you start? And kind of where'd your journey begin? And where's it kind of taking you?
Yeah, so I've been playing baseball my whole life. I mean, I started when as young as I can remember. I moved around a lot as a kid. So I played a lot of Little League. I played in New Hampshire. I played in north of Chicago. Kind of got into the travel ball scene in like my 8U, 9U, 10U age, which was more of just like a all-star team for the Little League I was in. And like we went to a couple tournaments, and around then is when I started to think that this was something that I wanted to do and actually put a lot of time and effort in. And then we moved to Indiana when I was 11, and I was actually unpacking the moving truck, and it was like start of the summer. I didn't know where I was going to play baseball. One of my neighbors actually said something about the Scrappers. So I went to a tryout, ended up making the team for Coach Logan. And I played there for 3 years, played for the Scrappers, 11, 12, and 13. And then went off and played with the Elkhart Titans for a couple of years. And then came back and played on Coach Logan's team again for my 17U year, which was really the year that recruitment started getting big. So it was good to get back with some of the guys and that I had played with before, and all the guys that were on that team obviously wanted to play college baseball. So it was a different vibe than I had been used to, through the high school travel ball scene. And it was really good for me, and not only my career, but just my mentality towards the game and what I wanted to get out of the game of baseball. So I mean, baseball has been a part of my whole life. I've played for as long as I can remember. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable, right? I mean, just obviously with a lot of the moving and things that you guys did, obviously coming from, the East Coast. I mean, that's obviously, a challenge in itself, right? Meeting new friends and just having that opportunity to kind of get in and then, be lucky enough to kind of get into a travel ball organization and then, rejoin with them again, which, was not necessarily always the easiest. So, obviously with, just some of your experiences that you've had, right? I mean, you've had an opportunity to play, travel with a couple different organizations. You played high school and was, very successful at the high school level. A lot of people come into our lives that, definitely you can look back on and say, yep, I can remember. I mean, that coach right there was a huge impact on me. And, sometimes it's a parent, right? That was a part of your journey. Who do you think's had your biggest impact? I mean, what could you relate that to?
There's two people that come to mind right away. First, obviously, is my dad. He's been with me through it all. He's someone that I can always rely on. I mean, anytime I needed or wanted to go hit some BP, he could always throw it, even though his BP wasn't always the greatest. We got stuff done, and he was always somebody that I could turn to and talk to, and just the love of the game kind of came from him. How much he loved baseball, and we would watch it when I was growing up, and everything about growing up. And I can always just remember my dad being there, and my dad wanting me to be better and holding me to a high standard, which has helped me a lot just where I am now. Even still to this day, he'll just text me every once in a while or every day and just be like, hey, how was practice? Or call me after games and you just be like, here's what I thought you did well. I mean, you didn't really do this well, but I mean, I thought that you responded well, and just stuff like that, like little things like that,
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that I take for granted, because there's a lot of times
Yep.
that I think that I'm right and he's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just been great to have somebody like that in my life, and shares the love of the game like I do and wants what's best for me. And then I would say the other person is Coach Logan. He, like, when I first started playing for him, I was young. I talked a lot. I didn't really care much about like the little things in the game. I just wanted to play baseball. And growing up, I mean, he taught me more that baseball is more than just like a game. And he taught us, like our team, that it was more than a game. And there's like the sportsmanship goes into it, and respecting your opponent, and like respecting the game itself, and don't take anything for granted. And I think that that helped shape me into who I am today. And he'll still text me every once in a while and just check in on how I'm doing. And like I can remember I came into college as a two-way, and hitting didn't really work out. I had an injury, and I couldn't come back. My mentality was pretty bad. But I remember that I came back, and I had a pinch hit at bat in a game against IWU 2 years ago. And I think I rolled over, I popped out or something. It was a terrible at bat. But I remember getting on the bus after the game and having a text from Coach Logan. And he was just like talking to me about my swing. And like at the time, I didn't even know that he was still following me, let alone watching me. But he like broke down my at bat. And we actually had like a 30-minute phone call about what I was doing and what I need to do, like in the cages and in my tee work, to like get back to where I was. So just like the constant support from him and my dad is probably those two people have the biggest impact on why I love the game and why I continue to play.
Yeah, that's two good stories, right? I mean, I think we sometimes, I know obviously, having a son myself, right? I think sometimes we tend to take for granted, you know, that we can obviously be a little bit hard on our sons, but at the end of the day, right? I mean, the goal is obviously to just continue to, enjoy the process and really continue to work and know that we are going to fail, right? But being able to see people like Coach Logan be able to just kind of a quick text message and reach out, right? I mean, just even though at the moment it may not seem like it's what you want to hear, but in the big scheme of things, I mean, those are the people that obviously still love you and care about you, and it's more than just the game, right? I think that's what's so cool when you get to cross paths with so many different people. So that's awesome. So obviously, when you start to look at the travel ball experience, right, is, travel ball has obviously changed even from when you were, really, really, grinding through it at, 15, 16, 17. There's obviously a lot more venues out there now. What are some of the experiences you can remember, right? Reflect on and think about that you were like, man, I mean, this is so cool. I just, probably at the time didn't necessarily know how cool it was, but some of those experiences that you can think about that you can pass on.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back on my travel ball experience, obviously I played for the Scrappers for 3 years, and then was with the Titans for 3 years, and then went back. And I think that the one thing that just sticks out to me is all the people that I met through travel ball, and like all the relationships that I made and I still have. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I played travel ball with that like obviously went to high school around me. So then it was fun to play them in high school ball. And then depending on how well it went or how it didn't go, I mean, there's a lot of trash talking going on your travel team from the high school baseball. But I think, it was all fun. I would just say, honestly, the relationships, because there's guys that like, I don't think I would ever have met. And now I still have a relationship with them and can still talk to them. All those tournaments, and like obviously the baseball was fun, and the baseball is what everyone will remember. But like looking back, the time in the hotel or the time doing stuff when you're like down in Indy at Grand Park, I mean, you're just like walking around the facility there with your team, and you're just hanging out, and like those are the memories that I can look back on. And like I don't remember like specific games or specific like tournaments and how well I played or how well I didn't play, but the things I do remember are like the relationships that I made and the things that we did. like when we go to big tournaments and we're like down in Louisville or up at way back in the day when it was like Wisconsin Dells, it was like the big place to go. Those are the things that like I remember of like when you're done with your games for the day and then you go back to the hotel and then you figure out what you're going to do that night. And like whether you're in Louisville, we would go to Louisville Bats games or go to the water parks and the Dells or whatever it was like those are what the memories that I remember most. And it wasn't about specific games or tournaments, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think back, I mean, we've been doing this now 16 years or so, and I can barely remember some of the actual games and the championships. I mean, but boy, I can sure remember pretty much every single one of our players, the families, the bonding, the memories, the going out to dinners, right? The just hanging out and just building those stronger bonds, because those obviously those last, right? I mean, those games, you're going to have a lot of games, but those memories really do last. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's probably the coolest thing about the travel ball. You get to come in contact with so many different individuals, not from necessarily your school, right? So when you do get to compete against them, or coach against them, in my standpoint, right, it's pretty fun, right? I mean, you have a love for them, you want them to do well, but maybe not necessarily against you, right?
Yeah.
So we just had that with playing your younger brother, right, on Thursday at their beautiful facility. It's like, I want Nate to do great. He's coming back off of an injury, but not maybe the game after, we'll give him the success. So as we look at Taylor, it looks like you guys are off to a good start, even though the spring's obviously been a little hectic. Currently, individually having to start, right? You're 3-9 appearances, you got 40 innings pitched, looks like probably second on the team, I think, in innings, got 46 strikeouts. So things seem to be going pretty well. Tell me a little bit about how Taylor, right? Why you chose Taylor, and then tell me a little bit about the season and kind of where things are going and what you guys are obviously hoping to accomplish as you continue through the year.
Yeah. So looking back on like my recruiting process, my brother went to Taylor, played golf here. I can remember there was a couple weekends where my mom would just drop me off and I would stay with my brother. And then when I got here, my brother would say, "Hey, look, I got to go to golf practice. Here's some of the baseball guys." And he would just drop me off in one of their dorm rooms. And I mean, I was a high school kid. I was a sophomore, junior. And they really just took me in and like accepted me. And it was like everyone welcomed me with open arms and they made me feel like I was at home. So I think going through my whole recruiting process, like there was always in the back of my mind, I knew Taylor was the place that I felt at home and Taylor was the place that I wanted to be. And then when I got an offer, it was pretty easy decision for me to come to Taylor just with how well the guys treated me. And obviously the coaching staff here is great. The facilities are great, which made it a lot easier. And I knew what Taylor was about and I knew what to expect. And I knew that if I did have any questions, my brother obviously graduated from here. So it was pretty easy for me to make this decision. And, but yeah, going on about the season, we're off to a pretty good start. I mean, we're hoping to win the conference. That's the goal to start every year is like, we want to compete. We want to win baseball in April when it matters. And I think we're off to a pretty good start. And individually, I mean, there's definitely been some up and downs for me on the mound. Definitely some good outings, definitely some not so good outings. But yeah, I think that overall the season's been going pretty well, and I'm excited to see like where it goes and where we end up here at the end of April.
So obviously, you kind of said it, right? I mean, you've had some up and downs on the mound. As you think kind of through, that process, right? I mean, obviously, you've matured a lot, just from the high school days when, you and, Alec, really kind of led Northwood to a really good, season that year as you guys were coming down that stretch. what are some of the things that you learned, right? Some ways to handle some of that adversity, things that obviously when you go out and have a bad outing, or maybe you don't have your best stuff that specific day. How have you handled that? How have you learned to handle that, I guess I would say? And, either through the maturity process or just, overall just experience, what are some of the things that you could lend that would really help some of our guys?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me that I've learned like over the last 4 years here at Taylor is like your mentality, like for me on the mound. I mean, you have to be able to respond. So if I go out in the first inning and I walk two guys and give up a home run, I give up 3 runs in the first inning, like you can still have a really good outing after a bad first inning or after one big inning. And for me, like in high school, if I gave up a couple runs, I thought it was the end of the world. And now that I've been at Taylor, like runs are going to happen. Like you're going to give up runs as a pitcher. There's offenses that you're going to face that are really good, and you're going to walk guys. Like it's just a part of baseball. It's like, for me, it was like more how I've learned how to respond to those things. And I've learned how to, like, I guess lock it back in after like I give up a 4-pitch walk or I hit a guy or something like that, like how to respond to those things and how to just reset on the mound. And then another thing that I've learned that Coach Barber, our pitching coach here, preaches a lot is like you're going to have probably 2 or 3 outings on the year that you're going to feel 100%. Your stuff's going to be 100%. You're like, you go into the day and you're like, okay, this is the day. Like I'm going to be really good. And then there's going to be like 2 or 3 that you are just terrible. You don't feel right. Your stuff isn't coming out of your hand right. Your off speed isn't doing anything. And then there's all the other outings in the middle that you're like, you might have your B stuff or your C stuff. Like you don't have your best stuff, but you need to still figure out a way to get guys out without your best stuff. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned is how to compete on the mound when I don't have my best stuff. And one thing that I've struggled with a lot at pitching in college is that I didn't really have a good off speed. It was really inconsistent. But one thing that I've like learned is that you just have to keep grinding. You have to keep going. And even if I don't have my best off speed or my changeup isn't doing anything, it's flat, you can still get guys out, and you still have to compete to get those guys out, especially guys in the middle of the order and all the good hitters. Like they will know if you have your good stuff or not, but like you just need to figure it out. And I mean, just figure out a way to get guys out when you don't have the stuff that you should have that day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does, right? I mean, I think in baseball, and I think, to Coach Barber's point that he kind of stresses, right? I mean, you've got to have that short-term memory, right? That short-term memory is so crucial. No matter if you're here, no matter if you're on the mound, right? I mean, you go out there, you go 0 for 3, right? That next at bat could be the at bat that wins the baseball game for you. So having that short-term memory, being able to reset, being the guy that's on the mound that goes out there and gives up the 3 runs in the first inning, going back out there in that second inning and being able to reset and create whatever that may be to have, right? Go out and have, 5, 6 qualities and leave it at 3 so your offense can come and score. So I think that's crucial. I think that's part of the mature stage, right? Obviously, point of not being able to necessarily have some of your best off speed pitches in high school and be able to learn and understand. I mean, some days you're going to go out there and you'll be like, hey, my curveball is really, really good today, and I'm going to have to win with my curveball, right? And then other days it's like, hey, my fastball is really, really good today. Like they ain't hit my fastball, right? So you still there, Matt?
Yeah, I'm here. Did I get logged out?
Oh, sorry. No, I think something might have kicked me out of here. So we're all good. But
all
yeah,
right.
so that's good. So what's your plans? What's your plans after the season's over? You got any summer plans? You playing ball here? What's beyond?
So I'm coming back for my 5th year next year. So this summer will just be more of training, lifting, hopefully gaining some weight. But I'm not playing anywhere this summer. I am coaching
Okay.
again, which has been fun for me just to be able to
Okay.
teach some younger kids and try to be a mentor for them. And like, it's a totally different side of the game that has helped me learn a lot more about baseball. Just from like, as a coach's standpoint, you have to think about everything. And as a player, as a pitcher, I'm thinking about how do I get this guy out? I don't really think about all the extra things, but as a coach, like it's helped me to really look at the game in a different way. And now that like when my days off or the games I'm not pitching, like I'm looking at those little things, which has been fun for me. But yeah, so I'm coaching this summer. I have an internship lined up at the World
Okay.
Baseball Academy in Fort Wayne. So I'm hoping
Oh,
to,
good.
when I graduate, go into like event and facility management and like running baseball tournaments or working at a place like Grant Park or the WBA or something
Yeah.
along those lines, trying to stay in the game of baseball. And I really like the travel ball scene. So I'm trying to stay in that area. So hopefully this internship works out and it'll set me up for a job here in the future. But yeah, I'm coming
Awesome.
back for another year. So I have one more year, hopefully.
That's good, man. That's good. So as we get ready to wrap up, tell me something. I mean, if you were to think back and just share a message or two, to it could be a one of our youth players or high school player that's out there that's listening. Tell them or provide something that maybe you think would be valuable as they're going through the process, right? They're climbing the ladder. They think they want to play college level baseball. What message would you have for them?
I would say the biggest thing that I can think of is play the game for the right reasons and play because you love the game, not because people want you to play or people like family members or friends want you to go play in college. Like you yourself need to love the game and play the game for the right reasons because it is a grind and it is a lot. And I feel like if you don't love the game for the game itself, you could get burnt out and you could end up not wanting to keep playing all 4 years of college. So I would just say like finding the reason you love the game and keep doing that. Whether that be because you want to be really good or whether that be because you want to play college baseball or play after college or whatever it might be. I would just say that you need to play the game for the right reasons or else you're going to get burnt out and it's going to be long and it's going to feel more like a job or a chore
Mm-hmm.
than playing because you love the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, great message. I think too often some of our guys, and we have this conversation a lot, is a lot of our guys don't truly understand. They may be the best, 7 or 8 at their high school, and they're going to play varsity, and that's awesome. But if they really truly want to play at that college level, that needing that love of the game, right, to go out there and compete against 50 guys when you walk onto your college campus or whatever that number is, there's going to be some mental, strain that's going to be placed. And if you don't truly love the game, so many of them walk away after their freshman year or before their freshman year even, starts. So, it's definitely a good message. I think that a lot of people should take to heart and really truly, understand what that means, right? What that love of the game means.
Yeah.
So,
And
well, hey man, Matt, I appreciate, yeah, definitely go ahead.
just one more thing is like, just how do I want to say this? Your mentality looking at the game and like going into baseball needs to like be strong because there's going to be when you get to college, there's going to be a lot of things that knock you down. There's going to be like you said, there's like 7 or 8, you're like one of the top 7 or 8 players at your high school and like, or you're the best player on your high school team. Well, when you get to college, everyone that's on your team was the best player on their high school team.
Yep.
So you're facing kids that are really good at baseball. And there's going to be times you're going to go into practice, you're going to go into a live day and come back and think like, what am I doing here? Like these guys are like so good. And I thought I was really good. And then obviously, like, I didn't have the best day today, but like, I would just say how you respond is another big thing. And like having a strong mental approach to the game and knowing that like, if you have a really bad day one day, the next day you could have a really good day, and you need to just stay strong in that and not like get down on yourself. Cause I think that's another thing that happens. It like for kids that like leave, it's because they didn't think they were good enough and they stopped playing baseball because they were like, okay, well, I have two seniors, a junior and a sophomore in front of me at my position. How like I'm never going to play until my senior year. But that's just not the way to look at it, in my opinion, because there's a lot of different things that go into how to win a baseball game. And you need to find what you can do and what you can provide to the team, whether that be you're a really good outfielder. So we're going to put you in late game situations for defense, or you're a really good base runner. So when our 3-hole hitter gets on who is not very fast and we need a run in the late innings, like we're going to put you into pinch running, and I need you to be really good at pinch running. I need you to be really good at running the bases and getting good reads. So there's different things that you can do in the game of baseball that help teams win that don't go down on paper or won't be in the box score of you going 3 for 4 with 2 doubles or whatever it might be. But there are things that you can do. So just finding what you do best and keep doing it and keep working on it. And then all the other parts of your game will grow from there, in my opinion.
Very well said. Very well said. Absolutely, man. I mean, couldn't say it any better. So, well, hey, I, definitely appreciate, you joining us today. Definitely wish, Taylor and yourself the utmost, success on the rest of the year. Hopefully, the spring will start to turn in our favor, and you guys will be able to finish out, April here on a very high note going into the conference tournament, hopefully win the conference, have a chance to win the conference tournament, get a regional berth. And that's what we, definitely play for, right, each and every season. So I hope you guys have the utmost, success as this season continues on for you guys, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, hey, guys, that wraps up episode number 6 here with Matt Dutkowski from Taylor University on our College Spotlight series. Continue to make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Canes Baseball GL. We're going to continue to have more live interviews. We'll be doing some game updates and some live game videos. We'll have player spotlights as high school season and the travel ball season kick off, and we'll just keep you guys updated throughout the year. So we will have episode number 7 coming up in a few weeks with Ben Gregory from Maryville University, former NIC Player of the Year last year at Penn High School. So thanks again, and we'll talk to everybody soon.